Good afternoon. This is Maria Hagan, and today I'm with Dave Beckman. He is with Raveis Mortgage, and we're going to talk a little bit about the current mortgage environment and interest rates. So, one of the questions I always get from buyers when I meet them is, how are the interest rates today? Dave, so tell us about the interest rates. What are they doing?
First of all, thank you for inviting me in to do this video with you. Interest rates are always a hot topic. Right now, I'm pleased to announce that interest rates look like they're declining, and that trend should continue into 2024. We all know the interest rates were super low, a few years ago, in the threes, possibly even high twos. We don't see that coming back. But the more important question is, interest rates are always going to be up and down. It's the payment. And anytime we work on a buyer together or work with a buyer together, that's the number one goal, is to show them what's affordable to them. A lot of times, the interest rate sounds high and many people are hesitant, but once they understand what that payment is calculated per month, the affordability is still there and home ownership is an option.
Well, that's good to know. So since interest rates are declining, I think we may see an increase in first-time home buyers in 2024. What first-time home buyer programs does Raveis Mortgage offer?
I agree with you there's going to be a lot of demand for homes. People have been sitting on the home. The first-time home buyers are going to be out in droves come springtime, which may result in multiple offers. So the types of programs that are offered for first-time home buyers that Raveis offers, there's quite a few. My number one favorite is the CHFA, Connecticut Housing Finance Authority. It's a state-backed loan that offers many options for the first-time home buyer. Zero money down. You can get a forgivable grant for the down payment, and you can roll in your closing costs. So in essence, they can come to the table with zero money down, Maria.
That's really good. Are there other?
There are. So we have an FHA zero money down program as well. CHFA has some restrictions in terms of income, whereas the FHA loan does not. So if I have a buyer that doesn't fit into the CHFA program, the FHA 100% is a great option as well.
How is a first-time home buyer defined?
Great
if
question.
I owned a home 10 years ago and sold it 5 years ago, am I considered a first-time home buyer now, or because I once had a house, am I forever not a first-time home buyer?
Yeah, so thankfully they've eased up on this. The rule of thumb is 3 years of not having a home. Now where this can bite us is, if you went onto the title to your parents' home, maybe for retirement planning purposes or end-of-life care, that, since you were on the title of the home, that does consider you a homeowner. So there's some ways to get around that, but the rule of thumb is 3 years from the last time you've sold your home.
Can anybody that's a first-time home buyer get a CHFA mortgage, or are there limitations to which first-time home buyers can get a CHFA mortgage?
So CHFA is limited to only first-time home buyers, except if you're going to be buying in what's called a targeted area. A targeted area is your bigger cities, your Meridans, East Hartfords, Hartfords. The areas that they're really trying to revitalize. They're not going to penalize you if you recently sold a home. You can still purchase in these areas with zero money down, which is exciting.
If I earn $300,000 a year and I'm a first-time home buyer, can I get a CHFA mortgage?
You cannot, unfortunately. There is an income limit for Hartford County. It depends on how many kids you have, actually, or dependents, but it's right around $115,000 combined income.
Are the first-time home buyer mortgages fixed rate, interest rate mortgages, or is there a variable mortgage that's available to them?
So the first-time homebuyer programs are really, they try to do more of the fixed rate. CHFA especially just offers one rate, fixed rate, no points. It is by far the lowest rate available out of all the first-time homebuyer programs. Other programs like the FHA Zero Money Down does offer an adjustable rate mortgage option as well. They're just not as popular as they were, so we're not seeing them, the secondary market want to purchase these loans. So 30-year fix is great, and what happens is there's no prepayment penalties on any of these loans. So when rates do come down, there might be an option to refinance. There's a caveat with that when you're putting down zero money, because you do need a little bit of equity to be able to refinance.
Since we're talking about CHFA in particular today, Many first-time homebuyers haven't been able to save enough money to put down a down payment or to pay their closing costs. Are there any programs available to help these first-time homebuyers cover their down payment and closing costs?
Yeah, Maria, that is the number one issue that we see with qualifying a first-time home buyer is the lack of assets. We see many people have great jobs. Savings is always an issue. So thankfully, there are some great programs. And like we said with CHFA, there's the down payment assistance. The other loan programs, unfortunately, don't offer a secondary loan. The FHA 100, zero money down, I should say, is a great program, zero money, but you do have to come up with your closing costs. So in the past, when the market wasn't so hot, you could ask the seller to pay some of the closing costs with a closing cost credit. That can still be an option, but with the anticipation, the pent-up demand for home ownership in 2024 spring, I don't know. I think it's going to be tough to get the seller to pay for the closing costs. They're working with a professional like you. We can maybe parlay some of the items that may come up on a home inspection, and we can use that to cover some of the closing costs.
So CHFA does have programs available to help a buyer pay their down payment and closing costs?
Yeah, it's called the down payment assistance, and it allows for up to 4% of the purchase price can be used towards the closing costs. And that's a recent change, but it does it works out well. I mean, unless you're buying in $100,000 or less, CHFA should be able to cover 100% of your down payment. Of your closing costs.
So, if a buyer viewing this video today wanted to contact you to get pre-qualified, what information do you need them to provide to you, and how should they be providing that information to you?
Yeah, that's a great question. So usually it's an initial phone interview, or come down to the office, or I can even meet you. I want to understand your goals, your income, your assets, your credit. And then the next step would be to fill out either my digital mortgage application, or I can hand take an application. And the type of documents we look for across the board with all our loans would be, 2 years of tax returns. CHFA is going to require 3. 2 years of W-2s. Again, CHFA is going to require 3. Month of pay stubs. And that initial interview will help me figure out exactly what we need. But the rule of thumb is those items plus 2 or 3 months of bank statements.
So, first-time home buyer has never owned a home before. Are there any other requirements for them, a home buyer that's getting a CHFA mortgage, other than the documents, that would help them be prepared to become a homeowner?
Yes, there is. They do require you to take an online course about home ownership. And even if you have experience, maybe your parents were in real estate, they're a really valuable course, especially for the first-time home buyers. Teaches you budgeting, what to do if you can't make the payment, how to budget for repairs. It's very effective, and it's required, but it's a good course to take.
So the CHFA program sounds a little bit complicated. About how long does it take from the time that the buyer goes to contract on a property and makes application for a mortgage for them to close on a CHFA mortgage?
Yeah, so I would recommend at least 40 days on a CHFA mortgage. The more time, the better. Maria, these are first-time home buyers, so there's going to be a lot of questions throughout the process, and even the paperwork can be very intimidating. So we don't want to rush them to the point where they get frustrated. So the longer time we have, the better. So as a first-time home buyer, you plan on putting an offer in, and if it gets accepted, 45 to 60 days is ideal. We can go faster. It's a little bit slower on a condo purchase, for instance, because not only do you have to get approved, but the condo does as well.
Well, thank you very much, Dave. I hope my first-time home buyers out there who see this video find it helpful. And if they're interested in purchasing a house, they can contact me at 860-305-8044, and I will introduce them to Dave.
Thank you so much, Maria.
And if you want to contact Dave directly, Dave, how would they reach you?
I can be reached at 203-641-8287 or dave.beckman, Beckman, at Raveis, Raveis.com.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.